Welcome to Global Morning.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call a police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from.
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
The struggle with ASU strike.
You have done your work, you have put us to the wall. We are not the slaves.
I'm not a small boy. You should have given me the report. I have not seen the report.
Glad to have you on in our lives, and also allowing us to get into your living rooms and wherever you are to make your morning truly amazing. Good morning.
Good morning. How is everyone doing? And of course, I am Jumai Manson. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning to Take Back Tuesday. And yes, this is Global Television and of course the Global Morning Show. Like Anthony said, we're grateful you're allowing us to be in your space this morning. Hope you're going to have an amazing time with us today.
All right, we'll be looking at a very interesting talking point playing out in Africa's biggest black nation, Nigeria, from issues of labor, where the National Nigerian Labour Congress has come out with an amount saying that they think the federal government should consider 1 million naira as a take-home pay for Nigerian workers, putting it to the fact that inflation keeps rising, and so the previous 200,000 naira being banded was no longer feasible. That's one of the talking points of the Nigerian Labour Congress. Also, we'll be looking at talking about other big tidbits that came out from the health sector, where the Association of Nurses and Midwives have protested the new screening process for them to get their documents screened, and they're saying that this is like a witch hunt on the part of the federal government to stop them from going for greener pastures outside the shores of the country.
Let's just quickly go on a quick break. Global Morning, we'll be back.
All right, still looking at the tidbit, talking about things that are playing out in Nigeria. Other tidbit concerning the statements of former APC chairman and the current senator of representing Edo North, talking about Adams Oshiomhole, saying what Nigerians are going through presently, it's courtesy of the misrulings and policies of previous government, talking about the Muhammadu Buhari's government, saying all the hardship Nigerians are going through is because of the poor policies of the previous government. And he's not alone in blaming Muhammadu Buhari's government for what Nigerians are going through presently. We also have the former CBN governor in the person of Lamido Sanusi Lamido saying that he does not join those who think it's the fault of the present government, talking about Tinubu's government, but rather the poor policies of Muhammadu Buhari's government, and that's why he feels that Nigerians are going through what they are going through. All right, still looking at big stories making the rounds. Let's move on to other stories. Today is the 13th day of February 2024. It means we're just barely 24 hours to the Love Day, talking about the 14th day of February 2024. And we've got NACA, the National Agency for Control of AIDS, in the news this morning, telling us that NACA urges Nigerians to be conscious of protection during intimate moments as we reach 14th of February. And it says, this is what it says. It says, in conversations, we should have conversations concerning sexual health with our partners, and also saying there should be regular HIV testing. And as it says, as Valentine approaches, the National Agency for the Control of AIDS has cautioned Nigerians against unprotected sex while reaffirming its commitment to promoting a healthy and responsible celebration of love.
And still talking about that, just to include on that, I think many people have the wrong perception when it comes to Valentine's Day. They do not know St. Valentine's, he actually died because of love, but people take it overboard to actually show affection and, of course, take it to a whole new level of intimacy. But it's just a time, it's not just a loved one, but it should be shared among people, orphans, people who are vulnerable. That's showing love in general.
All right, still talking about love, and when it comes to love, there's so many things involved in it, but the watchword from the National Agency for Control of AIDS says we should have discussions as regards intimacy and also regular testing. And that's one of the ways we can help prevent HIV and AIDS. All right, we still have some big stories coming out as regards the investigators reveal more details about the helicopter crash that claimed the Wigui's family, talking about his wife and son. The story tells us that the debris was approximately 100 yards in length. An official said the National Transportation Safety Board on Sunday provided details on some of the items recovered from the scene of the helicopter crash that led to the death of the Group Chief Executive Officer of Access Holdings PLC. The board has also provided insight into the aircraft's flight trajectory before crashing. The details were provided by the board member with the NTSB, Michael Graham, during a press briefing held on Sunday afternoon in Barstow, California. All right, just yesterday we had the Nigerian National Assembly say it should be further investigated. What's your take as regards that?
I think the necessary investigations should be done. I think Nigerians, we should have a forum where we should go out and ask questions where necessary. It's just an unfortunate incident that claimed the lives of a family. So the necessary investigations should be done.
All right, looking at those stories, it's now time for us to quickly take some other breather and give you some business news updates.
Hello and welcome to Business Reports on Global Morning. In a concerning forecast by the International Monetary Fund, Nigerian foreign reserve is expected to see a significant reduction, falling to $24 billion in the year 2024. This prediction was detailed in the IMF's latest country report for Nigeria, signaling potential challenges ahead of Africa's largest economy. As of February 8, 2024, data from the Central Bank of Nigeria positioned the country's foreign reserve at $33.12 billion, indicating a substantial drop is on the horizon according to the International Financial Institution projection. The IMF noted that first half of 2023 witnessed a surplus in the current account, yet there was a notable decline in the reserves. This downturn has been attributed to a decrease in hydrocarbon exports, largely due to rampant theft and lack of investment in essential upstream infrastructure. Additionally, profit repatriation from the oil sector has seen a downturn, albeit slightly offsetting the adverse effect on the current account. Amid this dynamic, foreign direct investment in the country remains low, where there has been an uptick in the portfolio outflow, including equity and Eurobond repayments, as well as repatriation. IMF anticipates a challenging period throughout 2024 to 2025 for Nigerian financial accounts, exacerbated by an absence of new Eurobond issuance, significant repayment of existing funds, and Eurobond totaling $3.5 billion, and continued portfolio outflows. Standard Chartered Bank has projected that the current Nigeria's economic reform initiative are anticipated to play a pivotal role in revitalizing Nigeria's credit landscape by the year 2024. The Global Chief Investment Officer at the Standard Chartered Bank Wealth Management Unit, Steve Bryce, stated this at the presentation of the bank's Global Market Outlook 2024 tagged Sailing with the Wind in Lagos. Bryce noted that the reform agenda in Nigeria will bolster microeconomic stability and tap into the nation's substantial investment opportunities. Bryce noted that the African Continental Free Trade Agreement was set to create the largest free trade area in the world when measured by the number of countries participating. The pact, according to him, connects 1.3 billion people across 55 countries with a combined GDP of $3.4 trillion. Bryce says the headline consumer price index inflation is expected to decelerate in 2024 in most key economies. It says base effects recently receding energy price inflation and the lagged effects of policy tightening will help to slow price pressure. Foreign exchange inflow into the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market (NAFEM) surged by 66.7% last week to $2.2 billion after banks complied with the new directive of the Central Bank of Nigeria. The bountiful supply was, however, not buoyant enough as the value of the naira dipped by 2.3%. The CBN had issued a series of circulars and guidelines with new macroprudential limits for net open positions, as well as removing restrictions on international money transfer operators (IMTOs) exchange rate quotes as part of efforts to boost liquidity and curb the volatility in the foreign exchange market. The value of the naira at the I and E window had depreciated by 2.3% to close the week, selling at 1,469 naira to a dollar, with trade consummated between 830 naira and 1,550 naira to a dollar at the official window. At the parallel market, the value of naira had similarly lost value at 1,417 naira to a dollar, and 8.2% decline in the value of the local currency. The Shell Petroleum Development Company of Nigeria Limited says it has completed the supply of 475,000 barrels of crude oil to Port Harcourt Refinery Company Limited. The SPDC says this is in furtherance of the federal government's commitment to increase domestic refining capacity and make petroleum products more readily available in the country. A statement by Shell Nigeria Media Relations Manager Abimbola Essien Nelson disclosed that the company, through its Bonny Oil and Gas Terminal has completed the supply of 475,000 barrels of crude oil to Port Harcourt Refining Company Limited. According to SCN, Bonny Oil and Gas Terminal resumed the supply last week after a prolonged outage of over 5 years, during which time the Port Harcourt Refinery underwent rehabilitation and integrity activities on its supply pipeline from Bonny Oil and Gas Terminal. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
All right, welcome back from that business news. Just to lighten and give you insight as regards what the business sector is talking about, despite all the mourning due to the death of Herbert Wigwe. And but other big stories concerning who's taken over from him has just surfaced in terms of the woman who has been given the mantle to take charge of the leadership of the Access Holding. And it's a female.
Yes, Mrs. Bolaji Agbede as the acting group chief executive officer. And most people will wonder and say to themselves, it's too early, but you know, business and life must go on. At least it's a financial sector that needs all hands on deck. So, well, I think it's a sweet and sour feeling when it comes to issues like this. But you know, life must go on. I hope with all her, with all of the things that she has when it comes to education. I think, well, let's watch and see. But it shows competency so far.
All right, that's why she's been made the acting to see how well she can act in the couple of weeks, months before a final decision is taken to confirm her as a substantive group chief executive officer of the holdings. Very massive task on her shoulders. How well do you think she's going to do, knowing fully well that Wigwe left a lot of burden, a lot of work undone? Like we were told, he cleared his desk before going for the Super Bowl, thinking he was going to return back. But there's going to be some internal wranglings to fill up certain positions.
You know, there's a saying that goes, what a man can do, a woman can do it better. I think she'll be able to wiggle her emotions when it comes to making decisions, detections, and all of that. I think she'll do pretty well. It's all about just knowing the nook and crannies and all of that, and I think she'll do pretty well.
All right, I wish Mrs. Agbede the very best of luck, and obviously for her to be working with that organization means she's got what it takes to get the job done. And
of course, Agbede, who joined Access Bank in 2003 as the Assistant General, has nearly 3 decades of professional experience cutting across banking and business consultancy services. She served in different roles at the bank, including head group human resource between 2010 and 2022, before she was appointed the company's founding executive director, business support, in 2022, a role she held until her new appointment. It shows she is competent when it comes to the banking sector and heading various groups. So,
yeah, obviously. 3 decades is not 5 years,
no,
it's not 10 years, it's more talking about 30 years plus. And definitely she's going to, you know, with her charisma, she'll be able to lead the group to the way forward. And besides, it's an active role, so they have the chance to swap her if they think anywhere she doesn't deliver. But trust me, Herbert picks the very best of minds. History has shown that he has empowered lots of people, and he has eyes for talent. And I know for her to have crossed over to Access meant she was truly one of the best hands in the continent. So we wish her the very best. All right, still talking money matters. Just a few minutes ago, we told you that NLC had decided that 1 million naira was going to be the take-home for proposed take-home for Nigerian workers, but the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has said the federal government will do something reasonable. I wonder what he meant when he said reasonable. Does it mean the Nigerian workers do not deserve 1 million naira?
I think for him that's a whole lot, but when he says reasonable, we just have to fold our arms, sit back and watch what the outcome will play out. But 1 million naira, really, let's be realistic, it is a lot. But with the hike in dollar, well, 1 million naira, sorry, not dollar, 1 million naira, how much, what can you actually buy? I saw a quote that says, if you earn 200 to 300,000 naira and you think you're rich and you've made it, think again, you're now poor, because with the rate at which the hike in the high cost of living, and when it comes to the hike in foodstuffs, and when it comes to all of these amenities that are so hard or expensive to afford, you're just barely there, and before you calculate the money, poof, and the money is gone. So let's just hope and see what he means by something reasonable.
All right. The minister has already told us that the federal government would do something reasonable. And from 1 million, I wonder what would be reasonable for the federal government. Would it be 500,000, 800,000? Let's get to see what will be your guess.
My guess, well, 1 million. I would cross my fingers and say, let's say 500 to 600,000.
All right, let's see how that pans out. But I know the Nigerian worker will be hoping for that amount, 1 million stock, but time will tell. And I think this is when the federal government has to do the needful, see how they can bring down the price of the PMS. Then probably it's going to be easier for you to offer the Nigerian worker 200,000 and they would accept. But as long as the price of the petroleum PMS is still on the high side, it's going to be very unrealistic to offer them 200,000 naira. All right, that's about some of the talking points we have. And we've got the Super Eagles arriving in Nigeria, and the coach giving us a lot of reasons why they didn't win AFCON. But let's just creep into the world of sport a little to get some sports stories. And when we come back, we'll give you some other details.
Hello sports fans, welcome to Sports News Update. Sebastian Halier's brilliantly improvised finish was enough to complete a dream AFCON final win for Ivory Coast as they came from behind to beat Nigeria 2-1. The Borussia Dortmund forward completed an incredible storyline after recovering from testicular cancer to secure his country's third ever AFCON trophy. The Elephants had enjoyed a rocky way to the final, losing twice and sacking head coach Jean-Louis Gasset. Meanwhile, his star-studded Nigerian side had cruised through the group stages before fending off a spirited South Africa side on penalties, but it was Haliers who had the last laugh, stabbing home a quality finish to send the home crowd wild. Barcelona are a broken team being held together by a spenily 16-year-old winger who is currently performing head and shoulders above all his teammates. When Xavi finally leaves this summer, if he lasts that long on the Barca bench, the only plus of his second full season will be that he has been prepared to start and finish games with Lamine Yamal. The teenager got his team first and third in the 3-3 draw against lowly Granada. He dragged his wreckage of a team to a point, but that's nowhere near enough for them to put any sort of pressure on leaders Real Madrid. On the bright side, it is a point gain on second place Girona, who were beaten 24 hours before. Barcelona need to finish second in the league to qualify for next season's Spanish Super Cup, and they need a strong Champions League run. Neither look too likely playing this way. They had little to offer in the first half, apart from their boy wonder winger, and he was enough to give them the lead on 14 minutes. Bayern Munich boss Thomas Tuchel has reportedly fallen out with one of his defenders after dropping him for their dismal 3-0 defeat to Bayer Leverkusen on Saturday evening. The Bavarian Giants were stunned by Xavi Alonso's men in a pivotal result for the title race. Harry Kane and co were powerless to prevent Leverkusen from recording a thumping win thanks to goals from Josip Stanisic, who is on loan from Bayern, Alex Grimado, and a stoppage time strike by Jeremy Frimpong to cap off a memorable night. Tuchel had opted for a back three for the game, with Dalo Upamecano feeded alongside new signing Eric Dyer and Kim Min-jae. But all the fallout from the loss continues to be felt. There was one high-profile player left angry by the decision to leave him on the bench, according to Bild. The Chilean Super Cup final was forced to be suspended after a fan violence led to a fire breaking out in the stands on Sunday evening. Colo-Colo and Huachipato were in the latter stages of their clash at the Estadio Nacional Julio Martinez Pradonaos when fan groups caused the match to be halted. Supporters from the Garra Blanca and Otras group for Colo-Colo had been disruptive prior to the kickoff, however caused chaos after attempting to get on the pitch during the second half. Chilean news outlet La Tercera reports that Garra Blanca invaded the athletics track on the outer perimeter of the pitch with the intention of making their way onto the field. As police battled with the supporters to keep them off the pitch, scenes at the stadium quickly turned ugly as flares and fireworks were then let off in the stands. And that's how we call it a wrap on the Sports News Update. I am Anthony Momodu.
All right, cutting action there. All right, welcome back from that quicker sports stories, just to give you some sporting ideas regards what's playing out already. A very sad commentary reminding Nigerians how they lost the 2023 African Cup of Nations. We got some stories as regards the cyberbullying of a Super Eagles player with the minister.
Yeah, yes, we did. And of course, like he said, they get that a lot, but it's wrong when it causes harm to an individual. And I think the end of conclusion is, I think all will be reconciled. It's just unfortunate that people actually do this sort of act when it comes to cyberbullying. People do it a lot, and they do not understand the sort of harm that it causes. It's so sad that let me just read a little bit of what is said here. The final AFCON 2023 match has been the jersey number 17 forward player experienced a routine of unpleasant remark hurled at him by cyber bullies and shamarks. It will be confirmed leaving social media after the final game. It's just unfortunate that people will go all out to bully an individual. It's a game. Get it? It's a game. Things happen.
Well, in as much as it's a game, at times some games are more than just games. To some people, it's life. It's about, you could see that people lost their lives for this game. So you can imagine the emotions that go inside of it. And so when they perceive like the player who they are giving all this passion for does not appreciate it, you are bound to just see some of those outpouring of emotions. That's not to say we're in support of cyberbullying, but we're just saying that when it comes to something people are passionate about, it's not something you toy with. So I think it's just a message on both sides of the divide. One, to the fans, these people laying their lives to play for the country, they train morning, afternoon, night, they love this country and they're putting in their best. On the flip side, also for the players to realize that when you're called to serve your country, you're not just playing for yourself, you're playing for millions of Nigerians who are hoping and loving you. And so when they perceive like you're not committed, that's when those emotions start to
They got us to the finals, so at least we should be grateful that we got to the finals. At least that's something.
Yeah, but you could tell that of the cyberbullying, it might just be 1 or 2 persons out of 200 million Nigerians. So there's always going to be the bad eggs.
Of course.
All right, we'll go for a quick break. When we return from the Global AM News, then the program continues. Stay with us.
Don't go anywhere.